What's up YouTube? It's BRZ520 again with another video. I wanted to go ahead and show you guys a list of the parts that I have on the car, the whole list. One of the guys on YouTube had made a comment about wanting the whole list. So that being said, we'll go ahead and we'll go through the list here. We got it on my computer. Let's see. It may not be every one of them, but hopefully it's all of them. The cartboy throw shifter, the Teen Street Flex coilovers, the Inky Rajans, they're 18 by 9.5 by 40, the Michelin Pilot Super Sports 255 by 35 18. Got it tuned twice. Let's see, the Radium Dual Catch Cans, ACT XT Street Clutch kit, lightweight, the Moto East Flex Fuel kit, Wilwood Big Brake kit, slotted rotors, stainless steel lines, front and rear, Skunk 2 Alpha equal length headers, the Craftsworks C38 Black Edition, that's the supercharger, Craftsworks oil cooler, Tomy Type 80 cat bat exhaust, parent overpipe, NVIDIA front pipe, no resonator and no cat, the Visconti taillights and reverse light that are smoked, JDM side markers, the SPC, those are the lower control arms and toe arms, Mishimoto hose kit, the Race Eng Revo pulley kit S2, M-Tech shift springs, the DW65C Dashworks 265 fuel pump, the Cusco front strut bar, Mishimoto thermostat, white gear box, positive, it's the white line, positive shift kit there, SuperTech carbon hood damper kit, those are the hood shocks for the hood, WeatherTech floor mats, the Flossie oversized heavyweight grip knob, Grams wideband air fuel ratio gauge, that's 52 millimeter. They're pretty much all 52 millimeter. The other one's the MTX D oil pressure and temperature gauge, that's a 2-in-1. The AEM True Boost gauge, M-Tech stainless steel clutch line, block 8 heads, triple pod gauge tree, 880cc fuel injectors, the whole set, diode dynamics always on light mod, the LED lights for the interior dome and the trunk, and I also got the Beats on it camera, backup camera, the diode dynamics, LED lights for the license plate, the doors, and the vanity mirrors too, the drive shaft shops, drive shaft, white line, front and rear sway bars with end links and bushings. I don't remember exactly the size. I want to say the fronts were around 22, 23 millimeter, maybe the rears were like around 20. I have them in my folder, but I don't have it with me right now, but that's roughly what they are. And then, of course, the sound system, the 2 10-inch subs with the amp, Rockford Fosgate. So, in any case, that's pretty much the whole list, but I have another little add-on that I got done here. I'll show you guys. What happened was my side markers, one of the lens popped off on the driver's side because it got moisture in there, and so water got in there, and of course, I guess the plate fell off, and so I came home one day, and the thing was silver, and I was like, what the heck? So I went ahead and got these. They're pretty cool as far as design and everything, and they're still the same as far as you have to rewire everything, but I just reconnected the same wires that we already previously had wired, so it wasn't that bad. But I'll show you the blinker too, because the blinker's pretty nice. So it doesn't show from that angle, but it shows from there and from behind there too, so that way people are driving up. But yeah, pretty nice, 50 bucks. It was cheaper than the other one, so it was a win for me. And plus they're a lot darker. I'll turn them off, and that way you guys can see them. So they're pretty dark for the most part. A lot blacker than the other one, so they look better too. But in any case, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to go, and I'll give you another video with a review on the 400+ horsepower, and hopefully might be able to tell some differences. So I'll be right back. So we're back. I'm gonna go ahead and do another review for you. Hopefully it's informative, but anyway, yeah, so it's got over 400 horsepower now. That was the goal. If you've heard my previous videos, then you know that that was what I was kind of shooting for to begin with when I first started the whole build. But it's still reliable, and it's definitely faster, of course, but don't feel that it's gonna, you know, ruin the life of the vehicle as much as I drive it. I mean, right now it's got a little over 3,200 miles, and I know a lot of people think it's a little early to be, you know, getting supercharging or turboing your car under, you know, a certain mileage. But I had mine done pretty much at around 22 to 2,500, roughly around there, when I got my supercharger installed. But I'll probably, I mean, I've already had it for a little over 2 years, so I probably won't put very much mileage on it. But I hope I never have to sell it, and I hope I don't. But you never know what the future brings. But it's definitely got launch control now, which is definitely a plus. Really cool feature that my tuner put on there for me, so I really like that too. Downside is you got to make sure you're on a very flat surface. Otherwise, yeah, you're just going to slide back. But it's a joy to ride. The sound is definitely louder than most, of course, as you all know, but I like the whining. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's always whining constantly after over 2,000 RPMs when it just continues to whine, which I like that. Some people don't. Each to their own. And they just got done doing the roads over here where I live, and even though there's still construction a little bit going on, the roads are nice and repaved and they're nice and smooth. So it's one of the gripes most people in this country know what it's all about here in the USA. Is the potholes are pretty bad, but they're a lot better now that they're all redone. Still looking out for a couple cars on my list I want to kind of run up against just to see what the comparison would be. Of course, the Stingray being one of them. There's definitely tons of those out in this area. There's a lot of retired people, so you got all sorts of high-end cars. Not too crazy, but definitely higher-end cars. But I really enjoyed the sound of the sound system, and I don't know if you guys can really hear it much. So it hits pretty hard. It's a joy to ride. I mean, now I'm just trying to figure out if I were to kind of upgrade it even more and get more horsepower out of it. I'm just wondering what I can do, or what I should, because I'm not, like I said, too informative as far as cars are concerned, because I just got into them. So what I've done to this car is pretty much what I know. Definitely want to start doing my own oil changes too, just because the dealership is a little ways away for me, and I just don't like having to leave my car there, especially this one. Heard all the horror stories of other dealerships, you know, taking cars out and romping on them in the parking lots and stuff, so I'm just kind of not wanting to do that. But hey, if it's free, it's free. But my warranty ran out on that, so I'm just gonna start doing it myself. I'm just wondering if you guys have any suggestions on oil, as far as I want to use really high-end oil, of course. So if you guys got any recommendations as far as what oil I should use, let me know, put it in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, I don't want to have to go to O'Reilly Auto Parts and get, you know, the store brand. That's why I went with Motel 300 for the transmission, just because high end, you can't get it anywhere in my town. Napa, anywhere, all the stores were pretty much didn't carry anything. They all carry like Royal Purple. Yeah, and just to let you guys all know, the average miles per hour here is about 45. So if you think I'm getting on it really hard, I'm going really fast, I'm really not going that fast. It just seems like that, but this little cop radar is a nice little thing to have during construction. But yeah, hopefully you guys got a decent angle. wants to kind of have a little bit of fun, but usually I catch them on Sundays, and today's Saturday, and it's still a little late in the day. On the way back, though, so Corvettes over here on the other side of the road. Definitely lots of those around. But yeah, the throttle response is definitely a lot better with the new drive shaft. So if you guys are not doing force induction, whether you are or aren't, it's definitely would be a cool perk to have. I mean, for $400 or $500, definitely a nice feature, and it definitely is a huge difference. So it's not something that you buy a cold air intake and you spend $300-400 on a cold air intake and it really does nothing. But that definitely shows, you definitely will feel the difference right off the bat. And there's a few upgrades that I've done where I've really noticed, and then there's some that I didn't notice until I got other ones after to kind of benefit the other ones previously that I got to get an increase on, control or whatever. But I like the suspension on this car, though. It's so much fun going around corners and taking turns very fast. And I still haven't, decided whether or not to go with bigger tires. I'm still kind of throwing that up in the air. And here's a emergency vehicle. People want to let each other in. Come on now. Let's go. Oh my gosh, people are horrible. People are terrible. Maybe miss shift and crap because I think you're going to be going out in front of me and they don't. Oh, snowbirds. Some of you states out there know what it's like having snowbirds come. They ruin everything pretty much. They just grip so much better. I've taken this one corner about at roughly 90. Ooh, it was fun. So I skipped a little bit because there's some bumps in the road, but it was a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot better with all the sway bars and everything too. There's less sway in the back. There doesn't the ass doesn't kick out as much with the sway bars. That's one other thing I noticed when I got them installed. But hopefully I can show you guys launch control here shortly because it's pretty damn cool. I like it. Some cars come with it, but I know this car I think came with it. He just unlocked it with the computer because I guess some of these cars that come from Europe and Japan and where else where they have hidden features that are turned off when they come to the US with our emissions and everything. So I think these have launch control. We just have to tune them or unlock them or something. I'm not a tuner, so I don't understand all the ratios and all that stuff. I see a number on paper and it says HP next to its horsepower, and that's about it. But yeah, the biggest thing as far as shift wise, of course, having that either the TRD or the Kart Boy. My buddy has the TRD, or did I should say, and he liked it, and I like the Kart Boy too. But if you plan on doing, I forgot what mod it was, but it wasn't compatible with the TRD, or maybe it was the drive. Yeah, it was the drive shaft. If you want to get the drive shaft shop's drive shaft, and you have the TRD quick shifter, I do not think it's compatible. So, but if you have the Kart Boy, it is. And that's from what I've read on the forums last time I checked them. But yeah, as far as the drive shafts, they're the biggest thing too. Is that the carbon fiber? If you look at it, like they say on the website, it's only a pound less, or yeah, a pound less. So for an extra like $400, and of course it sounds a little different too. But I really don't pay attention to sound since the car is so loud in general, and I have a sound system. I can pretty much listen to whatever sound I want. sorry for the boring video, guys. Not talking much. There's not. I mean, for the most part, there's so many parts and there's so many things to talk about. But I've talked about most of them. The biggest thing now is figuring out what to do next and make it more interesting and look forward to it more, I guess. See, there's another cop right there too. There's a lot of them around here because there's such a small radius and there's so many of them. And if you go downtown, it's a larger radius and there's less of them. In fact, I think the city here only has like 68 officers for the whole city. It's pretty sad. The numbers are really low. But anyways, in this area, it's a lot more, I guess, wealthier. So there are just a lot of people that drive nice cars and have nice homes and stuff, and always have to worry about the cops, but there's never any burglaries or any crime around here, no shootings. Of course, it's Arizona, so it's always open carry, but nothing too crazy. And there's another Corvette. Lots of old guys in the Corvettes. Some of these qualities already out the box. I'm trying to figure out what my 0 to 60 is. That's something that's been running through my mind. Don't have a way to time it without recording it on video and then playing it back. But I don't have a GoPro mount, so I'm using those seatbelt straps that you use and using it to hold the GoPro up. Pretty crafty, but hopefully it's a decent angle. And if it isn't, sorry. It's the best I can do. I don't edit my stuff. I don't have fancy graphics and special features and stuff on my videos. Maybe one day, but just kind of documenting everything and enjoying my car, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. And hopefully maybe one day get sponsored or have some sponsors. Kind of get some free stuff, especially tires would be nice. Definitely wouldn't mind having nicer tires, or I should say more tires, so I can burn these up. That's also a good way to kind of figure out too which tires are the best and last the longest when you're switching them up so often with different brands. But from what I heard when I got mine last year, the Michelin Pilot Super Sports are pretty dang sticky. And when I'm driving through my neighborhood and it's newer roads, you can hear the rocks kicking up in the fender wells from the tires sticking. Even if it's not summertime, which of course here in Arizona the roads are really hot. But during the winter time, the rocks, they stick and fling all inside the wheel wells. I do have the suspension very stiff, just because I wanted to clear the driveway, so it is kind of bumpy. This road's kind of horrible for that anyways. I wish I could make it softer, don't get me wrong, but if I do, then I'm just going to be scraping when I get inside my driveway. I did think about getting that Team Streak with the coilovers. They sell a module that you can manually control the adjustment and the stiffness and everything from inside the vehicle. And I guess from what I saw and read, you have to install these little wheelies on top of the little mechanisms that you turn to tune it, and it turns it for you and tells you what the drop height is, the pressure, and all that stuff, and whatever. But I think it was, I don't know how much it was, but it was kind of expensive, and I was thinking, even then, still just having to worry about, doing it so much, when every time I go home and every time I go out, having to adjust it, I think I'd wear it out too much. I think it's more or less for people that are doing car shows that are going to be kind of showing it off here and there. But for doing it as much as I would use it, I wouldn't want it to break. Last night, as a matter of fact, that I went to the gas station and the E85 was only like 53%, and I was like, oh my gosh, no. I was so upset because right now it's at 82 and just a second ago it's at 83, so it's pretty damn good quality compared to majority of the country that doesn't get that great of quality. Very, very pure. I know a lot of, there's a huge thing going on about, I even had people tell me, oh, you run E85, that's very corrosive and everything, and I'm like, well, what isn't? I mean, everything, as long as you maintain the car, and I mean, like, as much as I drive it, I mean, there's not really much wear and tear on it, but just maintaining the car, taking care of it. I've always had Toyotas my whole life. It's my first Subaru, and I know it's a half Subaru Toyota motor, whatever you guys want to call it, but I really like Toyota. I never had a problem with them. Out of all the vehicles we've had, between my family and my friends, never had problems with them. And never mine or my family's were ever in the shop, except to, oil changes and things like that. But speaking of the oil changes, like I was saying earlier, when I start doing them ourselves, my dad and I were gonna get a 4-post lift, and we have a new office building that's gonna have a garage. We're gonna start doing the oil changes ourselves and maintaining ourselves and adjusting the springs and all that good stuff, and making sure that everything stays tight. Do a nice quality check. The AZ BRZ 520 inspection. But its alignment's really well. Coilovers are nice. Its squat's really nice when you're going over these nice little dips. first sports car that I've ever actually had a stick before. I actually learned driving stick on a Toyota Tacoma 4-cylinder, little one. And ever since I learned how to drive stick, my other buddy, that Tommy, had to drive stick in his 2000 single cab little 4-cylinder Tacoma. He's like, man, he goes, as soon as you drive stick, because I was so anti-stick, because I love being able to have, you know, the freedom of, you know, talking on your phone, which you're supposed to, and, you know, eating and stuff like that, multitasking, I should say, more or less, while you're driving, rather than a manual. Really can't do very much of that, and if you can, it's very risky. But he's like, man, once you go stick, you'll never go back to an automatic. And as soon as I drove the stick and got used to it, and I was driving that 4-cylinder, and it was my work truck, of course, you guys seen it probably in the videos, my little work truck. I go up to these cars and everybody wants to freaking, you know, haul ass past me. Now I'd pretend like I was racing them, you know, just even though I knew they were beating my ass, but it was just fun. I'm like, gosh, it would be so cool to have a sports car and being able to actually do that legitly with, you know, a decent motor. And so that's when I kind of started looking into cars. And when I started looking into cars, I'm like, whoa, you know, there's a big difference in V6 and V8s in, you know, 4-cylinders, but you know, some of these 4-cylinders can beat the V6s and the V8s and vice versa, back and down. And it's just a whole different ball game, guys. And for this motor to be able to push this power out without having, you know, pistons and cams and all that, you know, internal engine stuff, I'm pretty proud and impressed. Even my tuner was kind of, you know, skeptical at first. He's like, wow, really? You sure it's going to be doing that? I said, well, that's what the forum said. So I'll go ahead and get some gas, guys. Be right back. Alright guys, we're back. Got some gas. E85 is like a little less than $1.99 here. That's pretty nice. Got like half a tank for $10. So, that all being said, it definitely, the gas lasts a little, not as much, but it's actually cheaper than 91 octane. I'll be able to do some stuff here in just a little bit here. And these stupid ass speed traps. I shouldn't say speed traps in a sense. It just tells you your speed limit. Pretty dumb. Waste of money. See, this thing works. You guys looking an escort. Pretty badass. That thing caught that way up over by the gas station, and that was definitely, I would say, at least half a mile. But yeah, this area over here has crazy turns and stuff, so I tend to really like this area. Plus, it's like one of the richest areas of my area. Now they used to have the PGA tournaments here. $1 million. These are all like up in this area, $1 million homes. There's some that live in the canyons and the mountains. And that's where all most of the people out in this area own your typical, you know, Mercedes and BMWs and stuff like that. Those things would get pretty expensive. One of my clients got a 650i, and I looked it up, and it had it's like 465 horsepower or something like that. It was like 30, I want to say like 4,300 pounds, something like that. I'm like, wow, it's really got hardly more horsepower than me, but it weighs at least 1,200 to 1,500 more pounds than my car does. And it's nearly 93,000 starting. Numbers and figures don't mean anything. Ferraris can get their ass beat by a Honda Civic. I mean, there's shit like that happens. Money is not everything when it comes to cars. Just because you have the most expensive car doesn't mean it's the fastest. But yeah, real quick, show you guys. So you gotta put in first. Launch control is fucking fun as hell. It revs at about 35 to 4,000 RPMs, and then yeah, I just drop the clutch and let it go. And I got traction control actually on, so that's not off. Likes to skip, but it's fun spinning tires. All the way in and just slam the gas pedal down to the floor really quick, and then it just triggers the launch control, and it just wants to stay steady rather than trying to manually two-step the old school way. Nice blinkers. That's I like the steering wheel a lot too. You know, they got the thicker grips and stuff. I've thought about replacing the steering wheel, but I kind of like it actually. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the review for the 400 Plus. If you guys want to give me some more ideas for the other videos or review other parts and stuff, let me know. Catch you guys next time. Leave me a comment if you guys got any questions or anything like that. If not, catch you next time. Peace out.